Yo, have you ever had one of those moments where something has been on your mind so long, maybe years and years, and at some point, just a random point, maybe it hits you, and you know right then is the point that you have to share it, or you have to at least record it, or you have to document it. You have to get it out. Right now is one of those points for me. I was literally downstairs 5 minutes ago, unloading the dishwasher, cleaning the kitchen. The kids are down there watching Batman, and I knew I had to come up for even 5 or 10 minutes just to record this so I never forget it. And the thought is that no one is coming to save you. And really, that's a good thing. But as far as DJs are concerned, it is very, very rare, far and few between, that someone just shows up at your gig, says, "Hey, I really like what you do. I'm going to go and change your life forever." Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen on occasion, rarely. And a lot of times that change might just be a momentary peak in the career. And then afterwards, there's a huge dip. And that particular DJ might spend a long time just trying to level out or balance the playing field after that. A lot of times it's not a peak that lasts forever. And it's not to say that it's not a good peak or there's not a lot that can be brought from that. But the idea of when I do my best and I perform at the top of my ability and I practice on end, someone is going to show up and save me or rescue me or put me in the position that I want to be in. A lot of times it just doesn't happen. And at least that was one thing that I thought early on, was that if I practice every day, if I put on the biggest performance I can every single gig, no matter where it's at, no matter how many people are there, then eventually the right person will see me and they'll send me on tour, or they'll move me to a different city, or they will give me an opportunity that has made all of this worthwhile. Now, granted, that was a thought in the back of my mind, and I truly think part of being a great DJ is performing to the best of your ability, practicing, whether or not you think someone's going to see it or not. You do it because you love the art, and because you love the art, you do it to the best of your ability. But with that being said, no one's coming to save you. For the most part, no one even cares. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that you're doing your thing, everyone else is doing their thing. Most people are so focused on themselves that they don't even have the capacity to care about you. And when they do, it's just momentarily, I guess would be the better word. Did they play the song I like? Do I recognize the song? Was that transition creative enough to grab my attention? You have to be everywhere all at once on thousands of people's radar just to even make a tiny blip. And I know that could be scary, but I said all of that to say, and I don't mean to sound doomsday, and I don't mean to sound it's the end of the world and what you do doesn't matter. I don't mean that at all. I think if you love what you do, you should do it to the best of your ability. And that's why I do what I do. I love it. I would do it whether money was involved, whether crowds were involved, DJing, mixing music, being creative with it. It is just part of who I am. It's so deeply ingrained into me and into my DNA. I don't have a choice but to do it. I don't have a choice but to lift it up and respect it and share it with others. It is who I am. So with all that aside, if you want someone to find you, if you want to be noticed, you should take every single avenue that you're interested in and explore it. So with that being said, if you're a DJ and you've always wanted to learn how to scratch, right now's the time to learn how to scratch, because that's another blip on another radar that's going to get you out into the world a little farther. If you're a DJ and you've always wanted to compete, even though they're not as nationally known as they used to be, there are still DJ competitions in almost every single city 2 or 3 times a year, maybe even more. If you wanted to compete, now's the time to practice and go compete and win the competition. That's another radar and another group of people that you've put yourself in front of. If you've always wanted to learn how to make edits or produce music, guess what? You guessed it. Now's the time to do that. Now is the time to Open up Ableton, open up Fruity Loops, open up Logic, whatever you have, whatever you're interested in, and get to work. Because once you start putting edits out, that puts you in front of another group of people. And when I tell you that group is a huge group, every DJ in the world plays edits. Every person who loves music is also out here looking for unique versions of that music. So when you put out edits, they're not just for DJs, they're for people who want to hear obscure creative versions of music. I was doing that way before I was ever DJing, looking for versions of music, B-sides, unheard versions, unreleased versions, this person who did a cover, this rap song, but it has a live band instead of a guy on a MPC. Those are things that interest me, and I'm not the only one in the world. You're not the only one in the world. If you have an interest in doing it and you love creating things like that, start doing it, start putting it out, because like I said, that's another group of people. If art, graphic design, web development is something that you're interested in doing, and it's a way that you feel that you can progress your DJing, now is the time to do it. The world's attention span is so small. I mean, it's just tiny, that just showing up to your local bar and being the best DJ in your town or your city is just not enough. Sometimes living in a bigger city and having that name or that city attached to your name, it will propel you just a little bit. But at the end of the day, being the best guy in a small town doesn't get you very far. You have to be seen online. You have to be seen in the forums. You have to be seen on YouTube. You have to be seen on social media. And the ways to do that are to start creating the things you love and to start sharing it. So really, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. I know this is kind of a haphazard video. I didn't prepare. My hands are actually still kind of wrinkly from washing dishes. So I really just wanted to say, keep doing what you're doing, but you need to be prepared to do more. I love that you're the best guy in your town, and I love that you're fully booked. But if you've figured out that you can't break out of your town, or you can't break out of your city, or you can't break out of your region, it's time to start doing more. Almost every single opportunity that I've had that's taking me to a bigger city, to a bigger market, overseas, to a different industry, it has been because of something other than performing well on the night of my residency. Now, you need to keep performing well. Don't let that fall to the wayside. But in the back of your mind, you know what that thing is. If it's been edits, that thing that's just been tugging at you, that thing that says, I want to do it, but I haven't made the time. Or every single night when I lay down to go to bed, I think about making videos, or I think about graphic design, or I think about networking in a way I've never networked before. I think about learning to scratch. If that's it for you as a DJ, it's time to start doing it, and not only doing it, but practicing as much as possible and documenting the process. Because what happens, the way you're going to find new opportunities is a lot of times not even by being the best, but by sharing your story. Because once people have seen your story, they feel like they know you. And once they know you, they feel like you're a friend. And guess who gets booked the most? People's friends. So hopefully that helps. And like I said, keep doing what you're doing. But if it's the only thing you're doing, no one's coming to save you. Love you guys. Peace. Feel free to hit me up anytime.